Hello, 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 everybody. Good to see you. Happy Saturday afternoon if you are watching this live. If you are watching on the replay, happy whatever day it is and whatever time it is, morning, noon, and night. That is the awesome thing, guys, about technology and being able to do videos and all that kind of good stuff on YouTube and other social media platforms. We've got the option of interacting with one another live, but of course, all of our lives are different. Sometimes we're not available at the time of live streams. And so we do also have the opportunity to watch these videos anytime, morning, noon, and night. 24/7. Once it's recorded and out there, it is available to you whenever you want it and whenever you need it. In case you didn't know, my name is Kendra, and this is Signing Agent Basics. This is a channel where I help new and aspiring signing agents and even veteran signing agents learn more about the business so that they can become productive and profitable signing agents. Because here's the deal, I don't know about you, but I started a business. I became self-employed to become profitable. So nothing wrong with that. And for those of you that don't know, while I do have tons and tons of free information and free videos on my YouTube channel, these videos only scratch the surface. I have much more in-depth training for students of my Signing Agent Advanced training program. I actually meet with them after these free YouTube videos, and I give them even more information, tons more information. I go deeper into this thing with them during those trainings. So for those of you who are like, man, these YouTube videos are awesome, but I need some more. What else you got? I need some more. Well, guess what? I got plenty more in my Signing Agent Advanced training program. There's a link down in the description box of the video if you want more information about that. But guys, we're going to go ahead and jump right in on today's topic. And today's topic is notarization basics that every notary must know. These things that I'm going to talk about today, guys, they are not optional. This is not, oh, this is good to know, or this is some information that you can know. If you are a notary public in the United States of America, this is information that you must know. So if you tuned in today live, you are in the right place. If you are watching the replay, you are in the right place, because if you are a notary public or if you aspire to become a notary public, this is information that you must know. But before we get into that, guys, I want to tell you, thank you so much for joining in, watching me on whatever platform you're watching, whether it's YouTube, Facebook, LinkedIn, all of that good stuff. Thank you so much, guys. If you would, right now, whether you are watching live or watching on the replay, do me a favor, hit that like button, hit the subscribe button if you're on YouTube, and then hit the notification bell. If you're not watching on YouTube right now, I encourage you to come over to the YouTube channel, hit the subscribe button, and then hit the notification bell. That way you will not miss it anytime I drop any video. If you are subscribed to my YouTube channel and you have hit that subscribe button and you've hit the notification bell, you will get a notification so you can check those videos and live streams out as soon as they drop. Again, guys, I want to thank you for joining, whether it is live or on the replay. And I would like for you guys to give me some information down in the chat. Now, again, we're going to be talking about stuff that every notary public must know. But my first question for you guys is, whether you are an aspiring signing agent, whether you are a veteran signing agent, is, do you know what the primary duty of a notary public is? So I want you guys to put that in the chat or put that in the comments. What do you think the primary duty of a notary public is? Because guys, here's the deal. If we don't know that, you can't do any of the rest of this stuff right. Also, guys, down in the chat, I want you to let me know, are you an aspiring signing agent? that means that you have not done any loan signings yet. You're maybe checking this thing out, or you're just in the very beginning processes of it. Or are you a new signing agent? You've been a signing agent for a year or less. Or let me know if you are a veteran signing agent. You've been doing this signing agent thing for more than a year. You're a vet. You got this thing down to a science. So again, guys, down in the chat, or if you're watching on the replay, in the comments, let me know first, what do you think the primary duty of a notary public is? And then let me know whether you are an aspiring signing agent, a new signing agent, or a veteran signing agent. And then I did see a few people already ask this question: will the replay be available? Of course, guys. Absolutely. Literally, as soon as this live stream is over, the replay of this live stream will be available. So if you're having some technical difficulties with your computer, no worries. You'll be able to watch the replay later. If you gotta leave before it's over, no problem. You will be able to watch the replay later. If you watch this whole thing and say, man, I want to go back and watch this again, guess what? You can, because the replay will be available. And again, guys, I encourage you to watch it here on YouTube. All right, let's see who we've got hanging out with us today. We've got Sandra Martinez in the house. Hi, Sandra. How you doing? Good to see you. We've got Donna Carr here hanging out with us. Good to see you, Donna. Thanks for joining. We've got Gertha Lewis. Good afternoon. At least here in Texas, it just hit noon. So good afternoon. Awesome to see you guys. Stephanie said, hello. What's up, Stephanie? Good to see you. We've got Relly Flores, another Texan here in the house. You know, I don't like to brag, but I do have to say Texas is the best state. So, you know, for you folks who aren't in Texas, it's okay. I still love you. But my Texas people know Texas is the best state. Sandra let us know that she is an aspiring signing agent. Kanar let us know that she is an aspiring signing agent. Willie just said hi. What's up, Willie? How you doing? We've got Chosen One, who is an aspiring signing agent. Majesty is a new signing agent and in the signing agent basics training program. That is awesome, guys. Keep letting me know whether you are an aspiring signing agent, a new signing agent, or a veteran signing agent. And then don't forget about that first question. I haven't seen anybody answer that question yet. What do you think the primary duty of a notary public is? Guys, in order to be a signing agent, you have to first be a notary public. And you can't be a good signing agent if you don't know what your duty is as a notary public. I'm going to give you the answer in a little bit, but I am curious. I want to know what you guys think the primary duty of a notary public is. All right, guys. Always, you know, I do have a Q&A session at the end of the live stream. If you can, try to hold your questions until the end. I like to try to get through all of the information that I can, and then I like to go back and answer the questions. So if you can, hold on your questions until the end. I also try to stay on subject. So if you can, try to make your questions regarding the subject of this video. If you are watching this on the replay, leave your question in the comments. I always go back, guys, and answer the questions that I see in the comments that may have been left from folks watching the replay. And if I happen to miss your question during the live stream, same thing. I always do my best to go back and answer any questions that I may have missed after the live stream is over. Now, I do have my freebies that I always give out to you guys, and I want to let you know where to find these freebies. Again, you need to come over to YouTube, to this video on YouTube, because the links to the free items that I have for you are in the description box of the YouTube video. And then folks always ask, where the heck is the description box? All right, so if you are watching on your laptop or desktop computer, underneath the video, You'll see the title of the video, and then you're going to see a little bit of the description box. And then you will see the word more. You will need to click on the word more. Now, if you are watching this on your cell phone or mobile device, like most of us do, again, you're going to look underneath the video. You'll see the title of the video. You'll see the word more. You'll need to click it. Then on your mobile device, it only opens up the description box a little bit. Guess what? You gotta click the word more a second time. Then, whether you are looking at this on your computer or your mobile device, once you've hit the word more once or twice, it is going to open up the full description box. All of the links that I have for you will be in that description box in blue. Click it, and you'll be able to download the free goodies that I have for you. So, what are some of those freebies? Well, the first freebie that I have for you is my free new signing agent checklist. I cannot tell you how many hundreds, if not thousands of people this checklist has helped. This checklist tells you step by step what you need to do to get started as a signing agent. So again, if you are a new signing agent, if you're an aspiring signing agent and you want a roadmap to show you step by step that you can check off how to be a signing agent, make sure you download that checklist. The other freebie that I have for you guys is my free AI guide for notaries. AI, stuff like ChatGPT, can be very, very beneficial for your notary business, for your signing agent business. But as always, there's a little bit of a learning curve, and there's things that you can do to get AI and things like ChatGPT to be more beneficial to you. So I have a free guide that gives you steps on making the most out of AI for your notary and your signing agent business. All right, now let's get into the meat of what we are talking about today. So, as a notary public, again, we have a duty to the public. And when we say that we have a duty, that means we have a responsibility. We have things that we are responsible for, things that we have to do as a notary public. And basically, our duty and our responsibility is to learn and follow our state notary law. Notary law, guys, is different in every single state. Obviously, I cannot cover notary law for every single state in this video. I'm going to give you general information, and I'm going to tell you the things that you need to find out the specifics of in your state notary law. This is going to help get you on the right track. This is going to give you general information. But again, you have to learn and follow your state notary law. So look at here. Nothing I say in this video takes the place of your state notary law. Nothing that I say in this video supersedes your state notary law. Your first duty as a notary public is to learn and follow your state notary law. And the thing I want to remind you guys is that there are no shortcuts. I see so many people in Facebook groups asking what they should do or what their state notary law says. But guys, places like Facebook groups are not a substitute for you learning your state notary law for yourself. I will say there may be a lot of well-intentioned people in these Facebook groups and in other groups. But at the end of the day, they may either purposely or not on purpose give you information that is incorrect, give you information that is wrong, give you information that is illegal. And it is your responsibility to know and follow the law. So if you end up breaking your state notary law based off of information that somebody gave you in a Facebook group or a forum or that kind of stuff, at the end of the day, you're the person that's responsible. So don't put that power in the hands of a stranger in a Facebook group or a forum. Just take the time, guys, to learn and follow your state notary law for yourself. Because here's the thing, it doesn't matter what anybody else says. It doesn't matter what a signing service says. It doesn't matter what a mortgage company says. It doesn't matter what the loan officer or the real estate agent says. It doesn't even matter what an escrow officer says. If they tell you to do something that is against your state notary law and you do it, if you break the law, then you can be criminally responsible. Criminally means you could go to jail, or civilly responsible. That means that you can personally be sued. Somebody can sue you and take money from you because you broke your state notary law. You cannot count on any of these other people or any of these other groups to give you the correct information. And I'm not saying that any of these folks or these groups will give you wrong information on purpose. But let's say that, the lender for a transaction is in another state. They may know the notary law for their state. They probably don't because they're not notaries, but we're going to give them the benefit of the doubt. They may know the notary law for their state, but they don't know the notary law for your state. So something that they tell you to do may be legal in their state, but it could be illegal in your state. So it is up to you guys to know your state notary law and then be strong enough to follow your state notary law, because I promise you, people and companies are going to try to convince you to break your state notary law all of the time. You got to know and be strong enough to follow your state notary law for yourself. So then people always ask me, well, where do I go to get my state notary law? How do I find the law? Where do I get the information about the law for notaries public in my state? Guys, it's really simple. There is a government website for your state that is over notaries public. It is usually either the Secretary of State or Department of State. So I'm in Texas. So in Texas, it is the Texas Secretary of State that regulates notaries public. We have a section on the Texas Secretary of State website just for notaries. And the actual Texas notary law is on that website to look it up for yourself. So you don't have to ask anybody. You go straight to the source and you look it up there. Another great resource can be a notary primer or a notary handbook for your state. I know the National Notary Association sells notary primers. You can get it there. And a lot of people like that because sometimes it's a little bit easier to find information and navigate in that book than it is on the website. But guys, those are the resources. The absolute best resource is going to be your government website, because here's the thing. Just like in other laws, notary law does not necessarily stay exactly the same every year. Sometimes the laws change. Sometimes they are updated. And when they change or when they are updated, that's going to happen on the government website first. So I always encourage people, find that information on your state's Secretary of State or Department of State website, bookmark it so that you can look information up there. And then it is also very handy to have a notary primer book that you can carry around to help you also look up your state notary law. All right. So now back to my original question, and I think I saw some of you guys put some answers in there. We're going to take a look. If you didn't already put your answer in, please put it in the chat or put it in the comments. What do you think the primary duty of a notary public is? All right, let's see. Arnetta said to witness signatures, complete oaths, and identify those presenting documents. That is definitely a big part of it. Absolutely. That is a big part of what our duty is as a notary public. Donna said the primary duty of a notary public is to verify the identity of the person signing a document. Again, that is a big part of it. Let's see what else we've got here. We've got Brenda said to verify the identity of the respondent, then execute the document. Part of it. You guys got like 2/3 of it. We're missing a little piece. Let's see. Ms. Moore said to verify identity and know what is being notarized. So you guys know we got to verify identity. All right. So yes, again, that is part of it. To verify the identity of people signing important documents and to ensure they are signing willingly. Yes, that's a part of it. But we're missing the biggest piece. Let's see. To physically show up, check ID, sign or not, log in journal. Maybe this is my primary duty. That's part of it. That is part of it. All right. I've been skipping over the people who said the actual answer. So I'm going to show what our main duty of a notary public is. Our duty is to deter fraud. Our duty as a notary public is to deter fraud. Have you guys ever wondered why some documents require notarization? Well, it is because either the creator of the document or the signer of the document wanted some additional protections. They wanted somebody else to help make sure, as much as possible, that there was nothing fraudulent going on in the transaction. So, the primary duty of a notary public is to prevent fraud. How do we prevent fraud? We do that by doing the things that you guys listed, by first requiring personal appearance. The signer has to personally appear before us. Now, that's whether we are doing the signing face to face, physically, or if we are doing it online. If we're doing a regular traditional notarization, then the signer has to be physically right in front of us. We should be able to touch them. Okay. Now, if we are doing this online, they still need to appear before us, but they are going to appear before us virtually via audio, video means. But either way, regardless, they have to personally appear before us. Then the next thing we do, once we've got somebody physically or virtually in front of us, we have to verify their identity. And guys, here's the thing. Here's where notary law steps in. Every state has different rules and regulations as to how you can verify somebody's identity. For the most part, you as the notary can't just go, I feel like that's them. Your state said, no, you need to follow these particular steps to verify the identity of the person. So again, this is one of the reasons why it is very, very important for you to know your state notary law. And then the third thing is we are there to verify their willingness to sign. We don't want to see that the person is being forced to sign. We don't want the person to be signing under duress, somebody threatening them to sign. They should appear to us as though they are signing the document willingly. So again, our primary duty, whether we are doing general notary work, whether we're just notarizing a random document, or whether we are doing signing agent work, is to prevent fraud. And again, we do that by requiring personal appearance, verifying identity, and verifying willingness to sign. So, like I said, every state has their own requirements for verifying the identity of the person. So here in Texas, and this is a part of your notary law that you should literally know by heart, because I'm going to tell you, this is the part that I see people and companies trying to get me to break the law on the most. Signers will come to me with ID that my state says is not acceptable. And either the signer or the signing company or the mortgage company or the real estate agent will try to convince me to accept that ID. And my state says, no, I can't do that. So here in the state of Texas, for an ID to be acceptable, it has to be federal government or state issued. It has to be current. It has to have a photograph, and it has to have a signature. If it does not have one of those things, then my state says that I cannot use it to verify their identity. And I'm going to tell you, here in Texas, the area where I get into the most ID issues is with people wanting to use their military ID. So you're like, Kendra, it's a military ID. What's the problem? Why can't you use it? Well, I don't know if you guys have seen the active duty military IDs. While they are federal government issued, while it can be current, while it does have the person's photograph on it, they no longer have a signature. And Texas notary law says that the ID that I accept has to have a signature. So again, guys, you have to know your state notary law. It's not like that in every state. There's plenty of states out there that have no problem with you accepting that military ID with no signature. But Texas says, that's not good enough. It doesn't have a signature. So your assigner needs to appear before you and provide identification that is acceptable for your state notary law, and it needs to match reasonably the name that is on the document. So even if a person has that ID, if their ID says their name is Mickey Mouse and the document says their name is Donald Duck, that ain't gonna work. You have not verified your identity to me. Now, if the signer does not have an identification card that is acceptable for your state, you might be able to use a credible witness. But guess what, guys? Every state has different requirements for credible witnesses. Again, do not let a signing service, a loan officer, a mortgage company, a real estate agent, an escrow officer tell you to just accept a credible witness. You need to know what your state notary law says is an acceptable credible witness, and make sure that any credible witnesses meet those requirements. Okay, you got to know and follow your state notary law, guys. So then another thing that is good to do, it is a requirement in some states, good to do in other states, is you should keep a notary journal. Now, a lot of people don't like keeping a notary journal. It's extra paperwork. It's extra work. But here's the thing that I always remind people. At the end of the day, guys, your notary journal protects you. This is a written record of any notarizations that you have completed. So I've been a signing agent. I've been a notary public. Well, I've been a notary public since 2004. So 20 years. I've been a signing agent since 2007. I cannot tell you how many tens of thousands of documents I have notarized at this point. If somebody has a question about any of those notarizations, I can go back to my notary journal and see what my record is. And I can answer questions about that notarization. Do I remember all of those notarizations? No, honestly, I don't even remember notarizations I did last week. But in my notary journal, I have a record of what I did on that notarization. Now, again, your state may have specific requirements. If you're required to keep a journal, your state may tell you specifically what needs to go in your journal. However, some general items that are good to include in your notary journal is going to be the date and time of your notarial act. So when did you notarize this document? The type of notarization. Jurats and acknowledgments are the main types of notarization. Which one was it? The date of the document. Sometimes documents are drawn up on a different date than you are actually notarizing them. The type of document. What was it? So I'm a signing agent. I see a lot of real estate documents. Was it a deed? Was it a mineral rights acknowledgement? Was it a notice to purchasers? Was it a survey affidavit? What was it? So you need to list the type of document. You should list the type of identification that the signer gave you to prove their identity. A signer's printed name. Who did you notarize this document for? You need to print their name in your notary journal. And the signer's address. Where the heck does this person live? Or at least where did they live at the time that you did the notarization? These are going to be general items that will be included in your notary journal. Now, your state may or may not require some of the following items. A signature. Just because you keep a notary journal does not mean that the signer has to sign it. Here in Texas, I'm required to keep a journal. However, signers are not required to sign my notary journal. The ID number of the signer's identification. I know it seems like you should write the ID number down as an extra protection, but guess what? In some states, like Texas, you are not allowed to write down the signer's identification number. Fingerprints. A lot of the notary journals that you will see will have a space for a fingerprint, but not every state will allow you to do fingerprints. So here in the state of Texas, we can do it, but we can only keep biometric information like fingerprints for a certain period of time, and then it has to be destroyed. So a best practice is to not even get the fingerprint to begin with, because it is not a requirement. Again, your state may or may not require fingerprints. Do you have to list items on individual lines? So again, as a signing agent, as I'm doing a mortgage package, there may be 10 or 15 documents in that package that have to be notarized. Do I have to put each one of those things on an individual line? I don't know. What does your state say? And then keep in mind, guys, that just because you happen to purchase a notary journal that has space for a particular item, that doesn't mean that you are allowed to collect that info. So again, in Texas, I cannot put ID numbers in my notary journal. So even if there's a space for that in my journal, I do not write it down. And you cannot refuse a notarization if something that is not required by your state, the signer refuses to do. So again, here in Texas, signers do not have to sign my notary journal. I ask signers to sign it, but if somebody says, nope, I'm not going to sign it, I cannot refuse the notarization because it is not a requirement. So you need to find out for your state, do you have to keep a journal or not? And again, even if you don't have to keep a journal, I suggest that you do, because again, your notary journal protects you. And then if you do keep a journal, what information are you allowed to put in your notary journal, and what information are you prohibited from putting in your notary journal? The more information you put in your journal, the better, because again, this is information that protects you. All right, so now we are going to talk about notary certificates. Every state is different. Some states give you a lot of training to become a notary public. Some states require that you take a class before you become a notary. Some states require that you take a test before you become a notary. Some states require that you take a class and a test. And then some states, like Texas, do not require that you take a class or a test. Basically, in Texas, if you're not a felon and you pay your money and you swear your oath as a notary public, that's all you need to become a notary here in the state of Texas. No training is actually required. Now, the information is out there, but it is not required. So unfortunately, in states like Texas, I found that because no training is required, a lot of people don't even bother to learn the law and how to fill out notary certificates properly. So I'm going to give you guys, again, general information about notary certificates and how to fill them out properly. But again, you're going to go look at your state notary law to make sure you are filling them out properly according to your state notary law. So in general, there are 4 parts to a notary certificate. We have what is called the venue. That is where the notarization is taking place. Where are you physically standing or sitting when you are doing the notarization? It's usually going to be state and county or state and parish. So like, let's say I'm at a signer's house and we're doing a signing. They live in county A and across the street is county B. I put county A because that's where I am physically standing. Now, if for some reason we stand up and we go walk across the street and we're now in county B, then I would have to put county B. It is wherever you are physically standing when you do the notarization. Now, this is important because sometimes that information is already filled in and it may not be correct. So you need to double check the venue. You are responsible for filling out notary certificates properly. So you need to double check the venue, the state and the county or parish, to make sure that it is correct. If it is incorrect, then you need to fix it. The next part of a notary certificate is the body. That's going to be the main part. It includes the main information about the notarial act, including the name of the signer, the date. It may ask you how you identified the signer, what type of ID you used, or did you use a credible witness? You want to make sure that the body of your notary certificate is filled out completely with no blanks. There shouldn't be any blanks in your notary certificate, period. But you want to make sure that the body is filled out completely with no blanks. The next thing is going to be your signature. It ain't notarized if you didn't sign it. Your signature has to be on the notary certificate for it to be notarized. And then your notary stamp if your states require a notary stamp. Now, most states do require that you have a notary stamp, but not all of them. So if your state requires a stamp, make sure that you stamp your notary certificate. Again, if it's missing your signature, if it's missing your stamp in a state that requires a stamp, then you have not completed the notarization. So here on the screen, guys, is a visual of a notary certificate with all of the parts. Now, this is an acknowledgement, and I'm going to tell you about jurats and acknowledgements in just a second. But we've got the 4 parts of the notary certificate. Up at the top, we've got the venue. It says State of Texas, County of Bear. That's the county I live in. I don't know why there's an X in it, but it's pronounced Bear. So that's the venue. State of Texas, County of Bear. Then we've got the body. That's where it says before me, John P. Doe, Notary Public, blah, 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 blah. All that wordy stuff. And everything that you see in blue, guys, is things that you would fill in as the notary public. So the body goes all the way until it says, given under my hand and seal of office this 14th day of September, 2024. Then you gotta sign it. Again, your signature is one of the 4 parts. And then we've got your notary stamp if your state requires a stamp. Again, if your state does not require a stamp, you don't stamp it, but most states will require a stamp. Now, the 2 types of notary certificates that you are going to see most often are jurats and acknowledgements. Now, these are not the only types of notary certificates that you will see, but these are the ones that you are going to see most often. 90%, 95% of the time. I want to say for me, 99.99999% of the notary certificates that I see are either jurats or acknowledgements or a hybrid of the 2 smushed together, okay? So what is the difference between a jurat and an acknowledgement? And this is one of the things that I see that confuses a lot of notaries. And if you're doing general notary work, this is something you need to know this regardless. But especially if you're doing general notary work, you need to know the difference. Because if somebody brings a document to you that they want to have notarized, and let's say it does not already have a notary certificate on it, you have to be able to explain to them what the difference is between a jurat and an acknowledgement so that they can select the type of notary certificate they want. You as the notary cannot tell them you need a jurat or you need an acknowledgement. That's called the unauthorized practice of law. We're not lawyers. We ain't attorneys. We're just notaries. So we don't get to pick the type of notary certificate. Either the creator of the document or the signer of the document needs to tell us what type of certificate. And so, guys, you need to know what the difference is between a jurat and an acknowledgement so that you can explain it to people in case they need to make a selection. So, a jurat, we're going to go over that one first. The purpose of a jurat is for a signer to swear or affirm the truthfulness of the contents of a document to a notary or notarial officer. Basically, this person is saying, yes, to the best of my knowledge, everything in this document is true and correct. So how do you know if a notary certificate is a jurat? The easiest way to tell is to look for the word sworn. If the notary certificate contains the word sworn, it is most likely a jurat. Okay? So now, a jurat requires the following steps. First and foremost, the signer must appear in person before you. We already talked about that. We know the signer must appear before you, and they must sign the document in your presence. So if somebody brings you a document that they've already signed and they want a jurat as their notarial certificate, they got to sign it again, because with a jurat, they have to sign the document in your presence. Of course, you should positively ID the signer according to your state notary law. So they need to give you an ID card that is acceptable to your state notary law, or they need to have credible witnesses that are acceptable for your state notary law. And then for jurats, you should perform an oath as required by your state notary law. Now, you should administer a spoken oath or affirmation, and the signer must respond out loud. Silent answers, like if they just nod, that's not acceptable. And again, even if you're doing this in an online notarization, they have to give a spoken answer. So you are going to speak an oath. Your state may or may not give you exact wording on what your oath should be, but you need to speak an oath, and the signer must respond back out loud to you. Now, it may or may not be required by your state notary law, but it is strongly recommended that you have the signer raise their right hand to emphasize the seriousness of the oath or affirmation. Now, one of the questions I get asked all the time, especially if you're doing a loan signing or if you're notarizing multiple documents, do you just give one jurat do you give one oath, or do you do a separate oath at the beginning of each document? It depends on your state notary law. That's going to be the answer for every single thing, guys. I promise you. What does your state notary law say? Some states may be okay with you just giving one oath at the beginning. Some states may require that you do a separate oath for each jurat. Some states don't specify. So at that point, it is up to you and your best judgment, okay? But you need to see if your state notary law tells you which you should do. So then on the screen, I have a sample jurat. And again, it has the 4 parts that every notary certificate is going to have. It's got the venue up at the top, it's got the body, it's got a signature, and it's got the notary stamp. And how do I know that this is a jurat? Because the very first word of this thing is sworn. So when we look in the body, it says sworn to and described before me. Now, guys, anytime you see me in a notary certificate, me is the notary. Me is you, if that makes any sense. You're the notary. You are the me. So if there's a blank after the word me, it is so that you can put who you are. So in this example, our notary is John P. Doe, Notary Public, State of Texas. So let me read the certificate from the beginning. Sworn to and subscribed before me, John P. Doe, Notary Public, State of Texas, on the 14th day of September 2024 by Sally A. Signer. And then John signed it and he stamped it. And look, we got Sally up there with her hand up because John had her swear an oath. So then the second notary certificate that you are going to see most often is an acknowledgement. And again, it has a separate purpose. Remember, a jurat is somebody swearing that the information in the document is true and correct. The purpose of an acknowledgement is for a signer whose identity you've already verified to declare to you as the notary that they willingly signed the document. That's it. It's not saying that anything in that document is truthful. It is just saying that this signer willingly signed the document. So how do you know if a certificate is an acknowledgement? Well, it will usually have the word acknowledged. So if you see the word acknowledged in a certificate, it is most likely an acknowledgement. And an acknowledgement requires that you do the following steps. Again, the signer must physically appear before you. One of the things that I'll see a lot is like a husband and a wife, and the husband brings a document and it already has his signature and his wife's signature, and they'll want me to notarize it. And I'm like, well, I can notarize it for you, but your wife is not standing physically before me. So I cannot notarize for your wife. I can only notarize the signature of the person who is standing physically before me. Again, you got to ID them according to your state's notary law. Now, one of the differences with acknowledgments is they can either sign the document before they appear before you, or they can sign in your presence. Remember with jurats, they had to sign in your presence. With an acknowledgement, the document can already be signed, and the signer must declare or acknowledge that they are signing the document for its intended purposes. So I'm going to give you an example of what's called a long form acknowledgement. It basically means just a really wordy acknowledgement. And then obviously, guys, this is a Texas acknowledgement. If you go to your state's notary public website, the Secretary of State or Department of State, they will have samples of notary certificates specifically for your state. So make sure that you look at those, because the examples that I'm showing you guys are Texas notary certificates. But here we go. Again, we got the 4 parts. We got the venue, we got the body, we got the signature, we got the stamp. So again, we're in the state of Texas, county of Bear, and the certificate says, before me, remember, me is you, John P. Notary, John P. Doe, Notary Public, State of Texas. On this day, personally appeared Sally A. Signer, known to me, or proved to me on the oath of. So if you are using credible witnesses, those credible witnesses have to swear an oath that the signer is who they say they are. So you would put the name of the credible witness in that spot. But in this example, I'm not using a credible witness. And again, we don't want to leave blanks. So instead of leaving that space blank, you can put not applicable in A. So known to me or proved to me on the oath of, not applicable, or through, and in this example, we use their Texas driver's license, to be the person whose name is subscribed to the foregoing instrument and acknowledged, that's how we know it's an acknowledgement, to me that they executed the same for the purposes and consideration therein expressed. Given under my hand and seal this day of office, this seal of office this 14th day of September 2024. And again, it's John P. Doe, and he's got his stamp. So that's what's called a long form acknowledgement here in Texas. Now, it can be shorter than that and still be an acknowledgement. So here's an example of a short form acknowledgement. Again, state of Texas, county of Bear. This instrument was acknowledged before me, and again, me is you, John P. Doe, Notary Public, State of Texas, on the 14th day of September 2024 by Sally A. Signer. Sign it, stamp it. Boom. Again, guys, make sure that you fill in all of the blanks in a notary certificate. Do not leave anything blank. If you leave something blank, somebody can fraudulently put information in there later. So you do not want to leave any blanks. And the biggest blank that I see, again, in these certificates is a space for credible witness information. If you did not use a credible witness, put in A in that spot so that nobody else can fill the information in. And if you don't know what goes in a blank, again, go to your state's website. Look at those sample certificates. It's going to have the sample certificates blank, and it is also going to have them filled in so that you can see what goes in those blanks. Do not leave blanks in a notary certificate. And then this is just the short form, this is just the jurat. Again, showing you all filled out, and the things again that you're going to fill out. You're going to fill out the venue, the state and the county where you are standing. You're going to put your information, notary, whoever you are, notary public of whatever state you're in. You're going to put the date of the notarial act. And here's another very important thing, guys. Never post date or pre-date. You always want to put the actual date that you are notarizing the document, okay? It doesn't matter what anybody says. Don't put yesterday's date. Don't put tomorrow's date. It always has to be the actual date that you are notarizing the document. Putting any other date on there, guys, is going to be fraud. You don't want to commit fraud. And this may mean, especially if the date is already pre-printed, that you need to correct the date. And again, your state notary law is going to tell you the steps that you need to do to make any corrections in a notary certificate. Here in Texas, you would make a line through it. You would write the correction. You would initial and put the date of the correction next to your initials. But check out your state notary law and see the steps that your state requires in order for you to make any corrections. Woo! Look, guys, those are the basic things that you must know as a notary public. Now, obviously, I went through that information very quickly. And again, this is not state specific information. Very first step, you need to look at your state's notary law. You need to know all of the information in it, but the biggest things that you need to know, you need to see, what do the certificates look like in your state? Does your state have specific things that your notary certificate must have? California has some very specific things that your notary certificate must have. Notaries in California often cannot use a notary certificate from another state. They have to use their California specific notary certificates. So make sure that you know that. Make sure you know what type of ID you can accept. Make sure you know whether or not you have to keep a journal. Make sure you know what information you can and cannot put in the journal. Make sure you know how to make corrections to certificates, because these are the things, these are the basics, things that you're going to do over and over again as a notary public. And what you don't want to do is those things wrong over and over and over again. And again, guys, I went through this very, very quickly, but again, students of my Signing Agent Advanced training program get more in-depth training from me. I help them even more with these notary certificates. I teach them, because again, I'm a signing agent. I'm teaching you how to do your notary stuff properly, because that is a part of being a signing agent. But a big part of what I teach is signing agent stuff. So how to get documents signed properly. I provide you with sample documents. That's always a big thing. People, you need to see what these documents are going to look like. I provide sample documents with notes and instructions on every single document that I give you. I provide you with mock closing videos, because again, people are like, I want to see what goes on in a signing. Well, I got videos for you showing you what goes on in a signing. And I am a mentor that you can actually reach out to for assistance. Again, in about an hour, I'm going to be doing a private, separate training just for my students. We're going to be going more in depth, not just on notary certificates, but also on whatever subject they want. This is a question and answer session also for my students. So if you've been looking for a mentor, if you've been looking for additional training, definitely check out my Signing Agent Advanced training program. There's a link down in the description box of the video. So now, guys, now is the time for Q&A. If you have any questions, feel free to put them in the chat. If you are watching the replay, feel free to put it down in the comments and I will answer as quickly as possible. Again, try to keep it on the subject that we were just on, which is basically notarizations and notary certificates and all that good stuff. But if you got some other questions, throw them down there as well. I am going to look and see if there are any questions in here already, guys, while you are typing your questions in. And Arnetta has a question, and it says, so on an acknowledgement, if the customer can sign prior to, does that mean if only one party shows up, you cannot notarize? So you can notarize the signature of the party who did show up. So let me pull up that sample acknowledgement again real quick. So let's say, so if you look on here, it says whose signature I am notarizing. It says after the date, it says by Sally A. Signer. So let's say Sally comes to me, right? And she's got a document. It has an acknowledgement. She signed it and her husband signed it. I can notarize her signature. So in the acknowledgement, I would fill it out just like this. This instrument was acknowledged before me, John P. Doe, Notary Public, State of Texas, on the 14th day of September, 2024 by Sally A. Signer, period. Because she's the only person that I met with. Now, what could happen is then she could bring that form back to her husband. Her husband can take that same form to another notary. And that notary can do another acknowledgement for his signature. But your notary certificate is only going to have the name of the person that you actually met with. So that's how you would handle it in that situation. Now, in those types of situations, sometimes people are like, well, we'll just wait until we can find a notary when we're both together. And that's fine. If they choose not to get the document notarized because they're both not there at the same time, that is absolutely their choice. But that is an option. And as a signing agent, that happens sometimes in what is called a split signing. So let's say you got a couple, a husband and a wife, who are purchasing a home or refinancing a home. And this happens a lot like for folks who are in the military, because let's say the wife is in Texas, but the husband is stationed in Florida. So I would maybe meet with the wife here in Texas, and in all of the notary certificates, I would make sure that it only has the wife's name, because she is the only person that personally appeared before me. She is the only person whose identification that I've seen. So she is the only person that I am notarizing the document for. So we go through it. She signs it. I do all of my notary certificates just for her. The documents are shipped off to the other notary or the other signer. And then that signer meets with another notary. And then that notary uses another notary certificate for each one of the documents to do the notarization for the second signer. So that's an excellent question, because that's something that happens, I don't say quite a bit, but it does happen. And if you are a new signing agent or an aspiring signing agent, you may not know how to handle that. You might refuse that notarization because you didn't know that it could be handled that way. So yes, wonderful, wonderful question. And then let's see. So on the acknowledgement, they can sign the document before, but still have to show up. And on the jurat, it has to be signed before me. So yes. So basically, with an acknowledgement, it is okay if the signer pre-signs the document. If they bring the document to you and it already has their signature on it for an acknowledgement. And again, what am I going to tell you? Double check your state notary law. But for an acknowledgement, they can sign it, bring it to you, and ask you to notarize it. You're still going to require that they appear before you personally. You're still going to require proper ID. You need to verify that the name on the document is the same name that's on the ID. And then you can not notarize the acknowledgement. And you're going to ask them, hey, did you sign this document willingly? Because again, remember, part of our job is to verify willingness. And so you're literally going to say, did you sign this document willingly? And they're going to say yes. Boom. That's all you need for an acknowledgement. Yes, for a jurat, the document you have to see them sign the document. So again, if somebody brings you a document that they have already signed and they want a jurat as the notary certificate, or if the notary certificate that is already on there is a jurat, then they got to sign it again because they cannot pre-sign a jurat. Jurats have to be signed in your presence. So that is a great question. Great question. Again, guys, if anybody else here on the live has any questions, put them in the chat right now, because we're about to end this thing in a minute or two. If you think about a question after this live is over, feel free to put it in the comments. If you are watching this on the replay, feel free to put it in the comments. But guys, please, 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 whether you end up getting training from me or not, one of the things that I always stress to everyone is that we have a responsibility as notaries public. We have a duty as notaries public, and our duty is to deter fraud. Please take this position seriously, guys. Please take this position seriously, because, somebody could literally steal somebody's house from them. I don't know if you guys ever watch the news and you see where a fraudulent deed has been signed and notarized and somebody ends up losing their house. And it's because, in part, the notary public did not do their job to prevent fraud. Every notarization may not be that serious per se, but we need to take our position and our job as notaries public very seriously. Take the time, guys, to learn and follow your state notary law to the letter. And do not be afraid to refuse a notarization if somebody is asking you to do something that goes against your state notary law. I was just about to end it, but I see one more question. We're going to take a look about this real quick. How do I feel about when I receive my documents and there's a fee in there for the notary that the signer signed, but the notary... Okay, so this is a signing agent question. So you may see a line for signing agents, and it may be more than what you are actually getting paid. But sorry, boo, that don't have nothing to do with you, okay? Especially if you are going through a signing service. The signing service negotiated a fee that had to be paid, and then they negotiated an amount with you that they were going to pay you out of that money. You agreed on whatever amount you agreed on. So let's say you see $200 on that line on the settlement statement, and then you're only going to get paid $100 out of that 200. Oh, well, the signing service is getting paid the 200, and then they are paying you a portion of that. Or the title company just does that $200 amount for a signing agent, and you agree to take a lesser amount. The signer is paying that amount for the signing. You just agreed to take less than that. And one of the things that I teach my students is how to negotiate for the most money possible. But yes, sometimes there is a form in the documents that says, hey, the signing service or the signing agent costs this amount of money. Even if that is not the amount that you are getting, that is what the signer is paying. Nobody's cheating you. Honestly, you cheated yourself. I hate to say it that way. You cheated yourself because you did not negotiate a good enough fee for yourself. I say all the time that being a signing agent means running your own business. It is not a job. You have to advocate for yourself, and you have to know how to negotiate for the highest amount possible. Everybody involved in this transaction, from the title company, real estate agent, mortgage company, title company, everybody in this transaction is in this business to make money, okay? Nobody's going to do you favors. You have to advocate for yourself to get paid the most money possible. And again, I have a module in my training where I teach my students how to make the most money possible. So how do I feel about that form when I see it? I don't feel any kind of way about it. It's another form that has to get signed because I know that I negotiated the best fee for myself that I could. LaShonda wants to know, do I recommend investing in a mobile printer or scanner? I will tell you this. I do not have a mobile printer or a scanner. I take it back. I have a mobile scanner. I do not have a mobile printer. When I first started as a signing agent, I did have a small printer. It wasn't technically a mobile printer. It was a small printer that I kept with me in my car. And I was able to, like, if I needed to take it in the signer's home or, stop at a FedEx office or whatever and print using that printer, I could. I got away from that. I decided that I did not want business that was going to require me to have all these emergency last minute printing of documents on the road and on the go. It ended up costing me too much time, which your time is money. Whether a signing takes you 15 minutes or 2 hours to complete, you get paid the same amount. So I basically, as I built up my business, I weeded out. I got rid of the companies that seem to always require me to have to print things mobily or all that last minute stuff. I got rid of that type of business. And I only work with companies that get me what I need in a timely manner so that I don't have to worry about trying to print mobily. Or if for some reason there is a last minute change, they pay me. They don't expect me to work a miracle at the table. They realize that this was their shortcoming and they're going to pay me to go back or do whatever I need to do to get that document signed. So it's up to you. Again, this is your business. If you want to invest in a mobile printer, go for it. Now, it doesn't hurt to have a mobile scanner. Go for it. Those are great because sometimes you do have to do scan backs and it is easier to do them while you're out than having to come back to your home office. But do I recommend it? Not really. I recommend being the best signing agent in your area so that you can get the best business so that you don't have to worry about printing things mobile. That's what I recommend. But it doesn't hurt. If it's something that you want to do for your business, absolutely go for it. And then we got another question here. How many signing service companies should you sign up with? You should sign up with as many companies as possible. You should continuously be signing up with companies until you have more business than you can handle. Okay? Because, different signing services, I find, sometimes you would get more business from one and sometimes you get more business from another. Or like I said, some signing services, it seems like there's always drama on their files. Seems like they're always the one with last minute documents. So while I didn't necessarily mind working with them for a while, I want to keep looking for better business out there so that I'm not doing all this last minute scurrying. I always want to look for companies that are going to pay me more. As you build your experience, guys, you should be getting better at this thing. And as you're getting better, you should be able to command more money. So you need to always constantly be looking for new and better business until it gets to the point where you can't handle it. All right. So keep signing up with as many companies as possible. And then really the only way in my mind to be really successful as a signing agent without burning yourself out doing a gazillion deals a day is to get direct business. Direct business clients will pay you more because they're not splitting the money. When you work with the signing service, the title company or the lender is paying one particular amount, and then that amount ends up getting split between you and the signing service. Cut out the middleman. If they're willing to pay $200 and then you go through a signing service and the signing service is only going to pay you $75, if you can find your own direct business client, you can make $200 to do the same work that you were getting paid $75 for with the signing service. So sign up with as many signing services as possible, but then you need to work on getting direct business. And again, I teach my students how to market for direct business. You don't have to be a signing agent for any particular amount of time before you start looking for direct business. You don't have to do X amount of signings before you start looking for direct business. You can be a brand new signing agent and get direct business. And again, that is one of the things that I teach my students. And LaShonda wants to know, how do I market myself to grow my business? Girl, become a student. That's some of the secret sauce that I save specifically for the students in my Signing Agent Advanced Training Program. Because here's the deal, guys. I give you guys lots of free information here on my YouTube channel. I give you guys lots of things to help you start your business. But the good stuff I keep for my students. So while I hope that the free information helps you, if you're wanting to go deeper, if you're wanting to market your business, if you want to get direct business, if you want to learn how to negotiate, if you want to learn how to be able to describe the documents in such a way that the signers and the real estate agents go, oh my gosh, I want you to be my signing agent on every signing, you got to become one of my students. That's what they pay for. That's the reality. They pay for the training so they get things that you folks on YouTube don't get. So become a student. And let's see, can I do it via relationships I build with the title company schedules? Possible. Again, become a student. Anything, guys, as far as how I market and how to get direct business and all of that good stuff, I save for my students. Do I provide training for Texas Notary Trust Delivery? Nope, and nope. Kendra is signing agent basics. I teach you how to be a notary loan signing agent. There's absolutely nothing wrong with all of these other things on the screen. I teach you how to be the best notary loan signing agent out there. That's what I do. I could do all of those other things. I haven't found the need to. I've been able to just do signing agent business. Because again, guys, when you do this well, you're able to command an amount of money doing it that you don't need to do all of those things. Nothing wrong with them. If those are things that you want to do, absolutely go for it. But I don't personally do them, so I don't personally teach them. So guys, and then Cynthia wants to know, how much is my training? Click the link down in the description box. It is as little as $199. That is for unlimited access to the training that never expires. And then you can possibly qualify for 6 months interest free to pay it off. So you could take that $199 and you can spread it out over the 6 months. So that helps as well. And then what's the difference in the levels? Again, click the link down in the description box. You can either go to my website where it shows you specifically what you get in each level to help you decide which level is right for you. And I also have a free webinar that I put on from time to time. You can join that webinar, and I specifically discuss all of the differences in my training program in that webinar. All right, guys. Oh, I went a little over today. I'm sorry. Hopefully you guys aren't too mad at me. I try to keep these things under an hour. We went a little bit over. So if you are still watching on the live, if you are still watching on the replay, guys, I appreciate you so much. You guys don't know how much I love being able to share this information and how much it means to me that you guys take time out of your day to come and spend it with me. So guys, thank you so much for hanging out. Thanks for watching on the live. Thanks for watching on the replay. I will see you guys for the next live next month. And in the meantime, I want you guys to have a productive and profitable day. Bye, guys.